What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, thank y'all for joining me. And it seems that Trump is steadily making good on his promise of, mega and making America great again and putting America first. Well, his latest issue is he wished to end the whole birthright issue, the whole birthright thing, and he wished to do it through executive order. Now, as everybody know, in the United States of America, by law, legally, any child that's born in our country on American soil is an American citizen. And unfortunately, like anything, any situation, if you give people stuff, it's going to be abused. And you know that this is being abused because I've heard stats that show that something like 2/3 of all births in Los Angeles are anchor babies. So if you give people that leeway, they will take it. And Canada ran into the same similar situation with Chinese women coming to their country to have their babies for free. Well, they put an end to that, and it was a Chinese Canadian that's responsible for pushing for the laws, and it makes sense. So what did those Chinese women do? Well, they started coming to America. But I've been saying that this whole birthright issue is something that we need to deal with because it is as I've said, we have our own problems in this country. We have our own poor people that we have to deal with, and we don't want to add more people to just exacerbate the problem. And of course, the liberals are losing their mind. Snowflakes are melting everywhere. And it's a surprise that there's even any snow left the way they melt, But here's the thing about it. Now, I'm totally opposed to the use of executive orders extremely. If we use the executive order in the proper means that it was intended, but to just use executive order willy-nilly to to create law is no different than a dictator. So I'm opposed to Trump using the executive order to eliminate the 14th Amendment. But see, here's the thing. He doesn't even have to use any executive order against the 14th Amendment because the 14th Amendment was never intended for that purpose. The only reason for the 14th Amendment and the intended purpose of the 14th Amendment was to protect the rights of newly freed slaves and their births, their children. It was intended to make sure that they would have citizenship. And you notice that the 14th Amendment came right after the 13th Amendment, which freed the slaves. So the purpose of the 14th Amendment was to protect the rights of newly freed slaves and to make sure that their children, when born, would be citizens, American citizens. It was never intended to be used to give birth rights to illegal aliens that are born here. And we have the evidence to prove that. So if Donald Trump used an executive order to get proper meaning, because that the 14th Amendment was completely revised, the meaning of it was reinterpreted to give birthright citizens to illegal aliens or anybody that's born on American soil. But if he used executive order to reinterpret the meaning the way it was intended, then I'm fine with that. Or we take it to the courts because, like I said, with this red wave coming, and I anticipate conservatives will win big in this midterm election. But with the red wave coming, he would have the House and the Senate. I mean, he would have the Congress. So if we use the Congress and Senate to bring the legitimate meaning back to it, which that's what we should do. And honestly, it doesn't make sense to just let somebody become an American citizen because they're born here. Because as I said, all you're going to do is just create anchor babies. And you don't think that women south of the border are rushing here to have their babies for free? So then they have children who are American citizens with full access to all the full gambit that we have of welfare handouts. You don't think they will do it? I mean, I've seen reports that they would have cities at the border with more registered voters and more people receiving handouts than the total people that live in a county, in that particular county or city. Again, if you give people something, they're going to abuse it. So Yet this is another thing that I completely support Trump in. It's just I'm just concerned about how we go about it. But this is something that's long overdue. We need to reinterpret the Fourth Amendment the way it was intended. And really, truly, liberals have no arguments against it, because we have, many of writing from people back in the day and what their intended purpose. It's completely clear what the meaning was. But Trump, yet another example of Trump, so putting America first and getting it done, which is why I voted for him. But we need to see this happen, and regardless of who get upset, who cares? It gets to a certain point when you just can't care about political correctness anymore. But as always, y'all, until next time.